is Grace Chakowski, and I'm an executive recruiter. Today, I'm going to share some tips on building your brand, the importance of creating a personal brand, connecting with your target audience, and how to plan your approach. Let's get started. So here's just a quick agenda of some of the main points that we're going to hit so you know a little bit about what to expect. So the importance of creating a personal brand. As you can see here, some top names of business magazines have published articles about this very topic. So it's definitely something that's pertinent and something people are talking about. One thing that I always think about is that your brand is out there whether you own it or not. And when you let others define you, you allow them to confine you. So you really want to be putting out there something that is your voice and authentic to you to create that personal brand. So where can you create your brand? One of the easiest ways to do that is using online platforms. So here you kind of see a quick guide to some of the most popular ones, Facebook being the #1 most active place. Facebook actually gets about 2.3 billion users monthly, so a ton of people are using it, but some of these online platforms may or may not be appropriate for your business purposes and your professional networking. So I personally use LinkedIn a lot for professional networking, but there are other instances where I might use some of these other things, such as putting up video content on YouTube on a topic of interest, or I do have a professional Instagram that is specific to some of the small business consulting that I do. Alternately, I am in some Facebook groups that are just for recruiters. So there is some overlap there, but make sure that the content you're putting on each of these platforms is appropriate to that audience. So speaking of your audience, you probably have a few different target audiences that you are going to be creating content for. So when you're putting information out on these different platforms and really aligning to what that brand is that you're trying to create, sit back and ask yourself, what is my goal? Who am I trying to reach? And how will they perceive my message? So you might want to reach a target company that you have interest in working with or working for, similarly with prospective employers, or it might be people that are in your space that you could be a subject matter expert within that specialty, or even within your industry. So that might be you are an HR professional within the manufacturing industry, something of that nature. So you might want to connect with people in manufacturing and people in HR. So you have some different audiences that you want to make sure that you are creating content and putting information out there for. So when you're connecting with your target audience, you have a ton of different options as to what type of information you're going to put out there. So these things can really be a variety of different things, and I really suggest that you mix it up and try some different things to see what's resonating with those different audiences. So someone who is highly technical really might want that really deep dive blog or article that they can really sit down and read through. Someone who likes that more instantaneous reaction might love the real-time media that you can get from an Instagram story, a tweet, or sharing something on your Facebook story. There's also different avenues where you can be sharing videos, which I do a lot on my LinkedIn personally, just to get my face in front of people so people know who's speaking to them rather than just continuing to post articles and things of that nature. So there's definitely a lot of different ways you can use these different platforms, and I definitely invite you to test some of those out with those different audiences as well. One of the most important things is actually planning your approach. So we can know all of these things, but if we're not implementing it, then it's not doing us any benefit. So here's some samples of just an Excel document that I personally use to plan my social media content every single month. So I take my calendar of what I'm going to be doing for that month, whether it is community events, client meetings, industry roundtables, conferences, things that my team at my own office are doing, and I mirror my social media calendar to that. And so the planning really helps me to diversify that content so that I can ensure that I'm reaching all of those different target audiences that we talked about earlier. So I'm not just putting content out there for prospective employers or just putting content out there that only people in HR are going to look at. Make sure that I'm putting different things, and planning that out really helps me to do that. It also allows me to take a couple hours and do that for the whole month. And then on each day when I want to post something, I already know what I'm going to post. So it helps me cut down on the time throughout the month that I'm spending doing that as well. So one of the benefits of using a lot of these online platforms is that you have data analytics to look at as well. So the tracking of how this information is used can really help you see what is resonating with your audience. You can see this is my actual LinkedIn data from earlier in the year, and some of the peaks I've actually identified as days and times where I'm sharing video content. I get a lot of engagement from video content. And then if at the end of February there, you can see on the chart, that's a month or a couple weeks where I was just really resharing other articles and not really putting out a lot of new information. Maybe it might be my take on an article, but it wasn't something that was novel that I was creating myself. So I've really realized that, and I'm able to tweak and personalize my approach to see what's going to really resonate best with my audience. So then that again just allowed me to pivot my own strategy to really take control of my brand and make sure that what I'm putting out there is aligned to what I'm trying to achieve. I know this was a ton of information, but I'm not going to leave you empty-handed. I do have a ton of links here to a bunch of the articles that either were mentioned earlier on in the presentation or some of the other resources as well that I've used. If you're really interested in getting more into the social media planning piece, there are some tools that can help you do that I have listed on the bottom here as well. I hope this video helped you learn a little bit more about the importance of creating a personal brand and how to execute that and share it with your target audience. We encourage you to visit Dress for Success DC's website for more personalized mentoring and training. Thank you so much for watching.